Hey, how's it going, everyone? So what am I working on now? Well, I got a 2011 Jeep Compass, right? Compass, not Patriot. Compass, Patriot, same thing. Anyway, I got a 2011 Jeep Compass, and it's an all-wheel drive. And customer's complaint is the right rear wheel bearing is no good. Just moving in a parking lot, you can hear it. Now, I'm not sure if I can hear it on a lift, but I can definitely hear it just rolling through the parking lot. So here is the right rear. Can't really feel anything there. But if you notice, here's the left rear. It's already got a new bearing on the left rear. Common issue I've noticed on these, not necessarily on these in particular, but on most vehicles, and I've had a run of these lately, where I have a bad rear wheel bearing. I listen to it, I can definitely hear one side making noise. I go with a stethoscope to the other side, and I can hear some noise, but sometimes it transfers from one side to the other. I replaced the side that's obviously bad, and you can even have play in the wheel the whole 9 yards. You're done, take it for a ride, and you still hear noise, because the other side's no good too. And it's happened so much lately that from now on, get a situation like this, where if it had 2 original wheel bearings, well, we're putting 2 bearings in. We're not just doing one. Unless it's like that obvious that it's only one that's bad. But like if you can hear some noise on the other side, it's getting done. There's kind of no choice in between there. It's just how it's been lately. I don't know why. I've just had a run of them where every single time, even on my own van, when I had to do the wheel bearings, whatever it was, 2 years ago in the front, same thing. Did one, I can still hear a noise from the other side. I'm like, all right, may as well put a bearing on that side. May as well just do it all in one shot, get it over with. Anyway, what I wanted to get to on this bracket here that mounts the caliper. I can't think this morning. These bolts go through, so you have this flange here, or this spindle, knuckle, lower control arm combination piece here. You have this is one piece. This bracket's another piece, and then you have the hub bearing. So everything sandwiches through. You knock the thing off, and a lot of times that bracket for the caliper stays attached to the hub bearing, and you got to beat the thing off of there with a sledgehammer or something like that. It becomes a pain. But you have the parking brake assemblies all in there. Then trying to go back together, you got to get everything to line up to put the bolts through. Kind of a pain in the neck. So anyway, let's get started with this. We're going to pull this right rear wheel off, and let's go that route. We're going to get that off and get these brakes off, and then let me show you what we got to do. And also, these things have really weird wheel speed sensors. I'll show you that. Now with the wheel off, it's just easier to unbolt the bracket itself and take the whole bracket off as an assembly, not the caliper, then the bracket. Also, this top bolt, kind of a pain the way they did it, because you can't really get anything in here because of the line. If you were going to do brakes, let's say, just pads or even rotors, whatever, what you do is you take the bottom bolt out here, leave the top one in there, loosen this line up or take this line off from its mounting bracket here, and then rotate this thing up, which I'm going to take this line off right now, or the bracket off. This way I can move the whole thing up and out of the way. So there we go, up out of the way. It was just the 214s that come through this bracket, the 113 millimeter head there. Take the line out of the clip. Rotor came off, no issue. There you can see the parking brake. You don't have to disturb any of that. Take the cotter pin out, take this castle nut washer piece off, and then take the nut off. It's a 1.25 inches. So let me get that apart. So with the cotter pin out and the castellated washer off, or whatever you want to call that thing, just zapped it off. It's not that tight on these. So now that that's free, okay, good. Up in New York, these things would always seize in place. Down here, they don't. So everything you need to do on the outside is done. Now we got to go on the backside to get the nuts off and get the ABS sensor out, which it's a trip on these, the way they do the ABS sensor. I think it's hokey, but it is what it is. All right, so now back underneath here, you got those 417s that you got to get out. That ABS sensor is only clipped in. You got to get in there and you have to kind of pry it up. Sometimes you get your fingers in there. A lot of times I'll use this, and that's it. That's all that holds it in place. And then what I'll do is I'll tuck it up and out of the way through that hole. But yeah, that's all that holds that thing in place. Up in New York, the little clip on the back of the wheel bearing would actually rot out, and the ABS sensor would fall out of place. Like I said, kind of a hokey setup, but it is what it is. All right, so let's get those 417s out. And then the other thing too is, when you go to separate this, a lot of times these things up in New York or in a rust belt area, all this stuff will rust together. Let's see if this one does. All right, so I just want to show you 17 millimeter deep swivel impact. Oops, sorry, I'm hitting the camera. And they come right out. Really not a big deal. Up in New York though, could be a big deal. All right, so let's go to the outside here. Now, as you saw, this whole thing moved. So more than likely the bracket, yeah, see the bracket's actually stuck on the hub itself there. So you got to try to separate the two. Sometimes it can be a real pain. So let me get this more out of the way, or further out of the way I should say, and then we're going to go from there and see what we can't figure out. Okay, so as you can see, the whole thing is sliding out. Sometimes, okay, it did come out this way, but it's still stuck in the backing plate here, or in this bracket, which is the backing plate. So a lot of times what I'll do is hold this and smash the bearing through, because the way it fits, it winds up getting stuck on rust. But then, as you can see, you get the threaded holes here, and you have to try to line everything up going through. When you're coming back together too, make sure you clean off the surface and there's no rust, dust, dirt, rocks, debris. So, all right, let me see what I can figure out here. Hang on. Okay, I can't film and watch at the same time, so hopefully you're going to be able to see this. I'm going to hit this. Okay. Pretty darn simple. Popped right out. I've had it to where they will not come apart, and you got to like grind off the rust and stuff like that on the edge of that, and then hold this thing and have somebody beat the center of that. It could become a real pain in the neck. Let me check this bearing. Oh yeah. Oh, I can feel the bearing is terrible. It's real rough. Now, in a situation like this, if you have to hit the backside of this bearing, you're replacing the bearing regardless. So if it was something you were trying to save, you'd have a problem. So just keep that in mind. Don't reuse the bearing if you ever had to strike it with a hammer. All right, let's go get the new one. Let's assemble this. Okay, so here's the new bearing. If you can't tell, it's a Moog. Make sure the clip is in the right orientation. This clip has to face the front end here. So as you're laying this in place, make sure that those holes are lining up. Now, the biggest problem is getting everything to line up all at once. It could be a real pain. So you kind of got to get it close, get it laying in place. I usually will put the nut on just to prevent everything from falling off. Just like that. You don't have to go nuts. The washer's not on. I still got to take it off because I still got to do everything else. So now we're going to put it up in the air and we're going to try to line everything up from the backside. I don't know how well I can show you that, but we're going to try. Okay, so you can kind of see the bolt holes there. You have to line everything up to get it caught. Like I said, the clip holder piece is right there, so it's in the right position. So this may be a little difficult for me to film. You may not be able to see what I'm doing. I have to use my headlight and try to get this thing caught. So you may see shadows and stuff like that. I apologize for that. Sometimes these things do not line up on the first shot. Sometimes they do. Do not jam them in with a gun. I've seen people do that and then they cross-thread everything. So try to avoid that. Oh, and it caught. Okay. So I apologize if there's shadows in that, but it did catch. All right, so now, as you can see, I got that one caught, so I'm going to catch the others. Let me get them all caught, and then we're going to tighten them down. Okay, so now with the hub bearing down and tightened, you got to try to catch that clip, and this can really be a pain. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to film this, only because the camera is going to be completely in my way.
But basically, you're going to take this, and if you look, you can see it's got a wedge design. It has the wedge in between here, and sometimes you actually have to manipulate this clip slightly to get that thing caught. This part can be a real pain. Unfortunately, like I said, the camera's going to be in the way. There's really no good way of me to film this. Eventually, if I can ever get GoPros, I could probably, hang a GoPro somewhere so you can actually see what I'm doing. But it's not in the budget as of yet. All right, so there it goes. It's in place, and like I always say, it's from this point on forward, it's going to be reverse procedure to install. And really, it's not terrible. This is not a terrible job as long as everything comes apart. Don't forget your flashlight. I love these things. Cyclopses, I think they call them. Yeah, Cyclops. I love these lights. I don't know if these are available on Amazon. I got them off the Matco truck. I have like 4 of them. And I tell you what, absolutely love them. Just got to remember to take them off because I've lost a few leaving them on a vehicle. Yeah, magnetic base, and does that. Rotates around. It'll rotate all the way around if you wanted to. So I'm going to put a link in the description if I can find it on Amazon. All right, well, let's reverse procedure to install. Okay, axle nut torque is actually very important on these things. On any car, actually. You over torque these, you can ruin a bearing. The torque on the hub mounting part, yes, they got to be tight. Yes, they're supposed to be torqued, but they're not as critical as this is for longevity of the bearing itself. So I know a lot of you guys, you can't get a torque wrench in there and actually get an actual accurate measurement. So on here, what I did was, as you can see, I stuck a pry bar over on the lift and I have a wedge in between 2 wheel studs. I put lug nuts on there to protect the studs so I don't accidentally, gall them up or anything like that. Okay, it was 180. So always bring your torque wrench back to 0 and you're done. If you want your torque wrench to last and be accurate. This torque wrench is 30 some odd years old. I had it checked for calibration and it's still good. So just so you see what I did there, just to lock the hub in place. If you don't have a lift, obviously you could do this on the ground, not a big deal. And you don't have to have a gargantuan pry bar like this. You could use anything to really hold it, pry bar, rebar, whatever. So let's just finish this installation and let's road test this. Okay, so everything is assembled now. We didn't do the brakes. I don't know who did the brakes, but whoever did the brakes, they left a little rubber plug out there. That's for the adjustment on the parking brake, which you almost never need, but to be professional, you really should put the plug back in or transfer it over to the new rotor. Yeah, line's tight, caliper's tight. That's torqued. New cotter pins in. Let's get the wheel on. Let's road test it. Okay, we are nice and quiet now. Dirt on my forehead. We're nice and quiet now. I mean, I'm going 45 miles an hour. It's quiet as a church mouse. So I'm all good with that. All right, let me wrap up this road test. All right, guys, so that was a success. Everything went good on the road test. So yeah, and also this thing had a ABS and traction control light on, and they went out. So that's good. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm going to see if I can find those lights and put a link in the description. But yeah, so that's about it. Hopefully you got something out of that. If you did, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.